Good afternoon. My name is Kevin Goff. I represent Roddie Bryan, a witness to the tragic shooting death of Ahmaud Arbery. Mr. Bryan has committed no crime and bears no criminal responsibility in his death. Roddie passed a polygraph examination that effectively exonerates him of any criminal responsibility in this matter. Notwithstanding the arrest of Mr. Bryan, however, and the hardship that he and his family must now endure, Roddie and I remain sympathetic to the Arbery family and to their quest for justice for their son. From day one, Mr. Bryan has fully cooperated with law enforcement officers investigating this matter. He has never wavered in that regard. There are few things more difficult for a criminal defense lawyer to do, especially in Southeast Georgia, than to put trust in a prosecutor and police officer that one has never met or even spoken with. Without going into detail, as these matters may need to be addressed by motion at the appropriate time, it feels like that trust has been broken. As the old saying goes, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. In response to the statement made by GBI Director Vic Reynolds this morning, with all due respect, from our perspective, it feels like the only thing that has changed since February 23rd or May 8th with respect to Roddie Bryan are the changing political winds. But we will not rush to judgment. While we may disagree strongly about several things, we have great respect for the District Attorney, Joyette Holmes, and GBI Director, Vic Reynolds. We share their belief that this case be tried in the courts rather than courts of public opinion. Following their lead, we will not be disclosing evidence in this matter to the media, nor will we respond to the seemingly endless stream of false and misleading information put out there. However, there are several things that need to be said. First, we agree with the Arbery family that justice delayed is justice denied. And I will not sit idly by as my client is held in lockdown for his own personal safety 23 hours a day in a tightly confined space for the next 18 months. He will not survive. He will lose his house, he will lose his car, he will lose everything unless released on bond. Accordingly, we are this day filing a constitutional demand for speedy trial. As a solo practitioner without so much as a secretary, this case poses a great many challenges. I have expressed those concerns to Mr. Bryan. I have assured him, however, that we will be ready for trial by July 4th, Independence Day. To that end, I have promised him that we will go ahead and start filing motions on his behalf, notwithstanding the current judicial emergency. He has my word that I will complete and file at least one motion each day on his behalf until that process is complete. We expect to be ready to hear motions by June 12th. Second, we also agree with the Arbery family that this case should proceed forward despite the pandemic. These are challenging times, to be sure, and the risks are very real. But the indefinite suspension of the right to trial by jury would be contrary to our Constitution. We understand that the March term grand jury was in fact impaneled and stands ready to hear this case. We expect that they will have a great many questions about the handling of this case by the police and prosecutors alike, as well as the shooting itself. The grand jury room is too small for social distancing, but the jury assembly room just down the hall is quite large. If it would help expedite matters and assist the Honorable District Attorney Joyette Holmes, Mr. Bryan may even be willing to waive presentation of his case to the grand jury and proceed on accusation. In fact, we could even go a step further. We don't need to spend weeks picking a jury in this case. Why don't we just agree right now to go ahead and take the first 12 jurors out of the box? Roddie and I are quite comfortable with having this case tried this summer by the good people of Glynn County. As I have said before, the facts of this case are really not all that complicated. This should not be a lengthy trial. However, there are a variety of challenging legal issues surrounding the prosecution of Mr. Bryan in this matter. It has been said, hard cases make bad law, and this may well prove to be just such a case. Preliminary research suggests that there is no precedent in Georgia law for the prosecution of Mr. Bryan. This is a groundbreaking prosecution, a substantial extension of the existing law. These charges, if sustained, constitute substantial expansion of criminal liability in Georgia that many, in the fullness of time, will likely find troubling. On March 13, 1964, 28-year-old Kitty Genovese was stabbed outside the apartment building across the street from where she lived. The New York Times, in admittedly flawed coverage, reported that 38 witnesses saw or heard the attack, but none of them came to her aid. Now known as the bystander effect, or Genovese syndrome, the incident remains a subject of academic research and fodder for psychology textbooks to this day. I implore prosecutors to consider the possible unintended consequences of the prosecution of Mr. Bryan. Does this prosecution serve the broader cause of justice? Or will this prosecution help victims in Georgia? Or will it, in the long run, leave victims in Georgia more vulnerable? Thank you.
Just one question. To be direct,
we're not going there.
But the arrest warrants that you say...
I have answered your question. I've made my statement. I have court in a few minutes. I got to go do that. If you want to send me questions, I'll consider them. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Mr. Roddie Bryan turned himself in yesterday at the request of the GBI.
But then also, the arrest warrants say that he multiple times tried to confine Arbery.
Now you're asking me to get into the facts that the GBI refused to do. What I'm telling you is that we agree with the GBI, who gave their statement this morning, that they're not going to discuss the facts in this case, nor are we going to do that.
Thank you. Thank you. Information that they are saying that he was trying multiple times to block with his vehicle.
I very much appreciate your help, but I actually have to get to court. Thank you.
Was Roddie coordinating with the
Thank you,
Michael?
ladies. Thank you, gentlemen.